Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Marilyn Darling Show, and welcome to another episode of Fountain Pen Calligraphy 103. Let's open up a web page and share this with our friends so that they can come and hang out with us too. Today we're doing spacing and connecting letters. So, how is everyone doing today? Are you having a nice day? I hope you're having a nice day wherever you are in the world. Share this with our friends. Okay. All right. Got the chat back, thank goodness. I had to re-download Streamlabs to figure out what I was doing wrong, because I really don't know what I was doing wrong. So, anyway, today we're doing spacing. Spacing is really important. So, we're going to talk about it a little bit today. We got our fountain pen. This is a Fountain Pen Revolution Himalaya version 2 with a Fountain Pen Revolution ULTRAFLEX nib. And today's ink is Waterman Black. We're going to label our page by using the information we have already learned. So it's April. April the 13th. Today we're going to talk a little bit about spacing. Spacing is the space between each of your letters. Now, in order to do this, we're gonna take this paper that we've been using for a while and we're gonna put it away. And we're gonna take a brand new one. Remember how I told you that we're gonna to make a couple of copies of this paper. You can go to the website that is in the About section of this video, in the description of this video, and make another one. And we're going to put that underneath, and the lines aren't going to be as prominent as they were when I colored them in. So and they're thinner, and I want you to understand that these lines are really important. They're 8 millimeters apart, and with that makes almost the perfect amount of space for doing practicing of calligraphy. So let's spacing. So each one of these lines should house 2 spaces, and a space is, depending on how many strokes fit within those spaces. So an upstroke is a half of a space. So this would be a whole space from here to here, from here to here, from there to there. But a half of the space would be only down the half of those spaces. So our S takes up a whole space, and an upstroke takes a half of a space. And so with that, we're going to have to make a downstroke. Well, if we don't know where our guideline is, how can we know where to make a downstroke? You can move your paper to fit where those strokes should be. Okay? And you go and you match it right to the top of that upstroke. Descending stem loop. And then the oval is a half of a space. And then an upstroke is a half of a space. So we're kind of making half space movements here, okay? So we're going into an A, which is an oval, so that makes a half of a space. An underturn makes a half of a space. A C is a half of an oval, which makes a half of a space, and an upstroke into an upstroke. An I is an underturn into an upstroke. And an I to an N is a reverse compound curve. And then an overturn is a half of a space. It would be a compound curve. An oval is half of a space. Descending stem loop. An upstroke is a half of a space. There we kind of have our word. Now, what is wrong with this? Can anyone tell me what's wrong with this? The spacing between the A and the C is smaller than the C and the I. Spacing is kind of a funny thing. You have to understand that not all spacing is equal. So, when writing spacing, you have to, these are just guidelines to give you an idea of how much space to use. And so you're not always going to use an entire space when you're doing your letters. I may have mistaken the spacing. Did I? Nope. Maybe just a little bit. It takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of kind of understanding that some strokes are going to take bigger than other strokes. So you'll have to experiment with it and know just where each stroke is going to happen. So a letter like a word like writing, would look like this, but we're actually coming on the inside of that W to make the beginning of the upstroke. Because if we wrote it using we would go and that doesn't look right, does it? There's just something funny about it. The W looks way over far from where the R is. So it'll take a little bit of practice, a little bit of experimentation to figure out where the letters go in a given word. A word like opinion I'm going to start right just on the inside of where that O comes out. I'm going to go an upstroke, down, underturn, reverse oval, upstroke, underturn, reverse compound curve, compound curve. Reverse compound curve. Sometimes you're going to use half of a space, a quarter of a space, in order to do a connecting letter. So, a word like word now, instead of going full stroke, I'm only going to do half of a stroke, or a full-size stroke from the inside of my W. Instead of something that would look like that. That just looks a little stretched out and wonky. Of course, you could write and then it would be evenly spaced out. But it's just going to take a little bit of practice, a little bit of intuition, and a little bit of experimentation. You're going to go through a lot of paper. That's why we have the unison composition book, because it doesn't bleed and it doesn't feather. Not that I've seen of, anyway. Alright. Is anybody in the chat today? No? Okay. So, let's do the alphabet. Let's do the quick brown fox. In which case, let's flip the page, move the guidelines. Now remember that these are just a guide, so if you have to go in between the lines or use a quarter of a line, this is just to give you an idea of where the downstroke, what angle the downstroke should go in. So, or the oval, instead of making a straight up and down oval, which is a script that Paul Antonio has dubbed Judy's script after his mother, we're going to make our oval leaning in the 55-degree angle. So, boy, my hand was cramping pretty bad there at the end. You should do your calligraphy nice and slow and legible so that people can read it. Readability is very important. So, Alexa, spell readability.
Readability is spelled R-E-A-D-A-B-I-L-I-T-Y.
Okay? Having the space in between each of these spaces should look pretty much even as you go across. And that is the key to spacing. They should look pretty much even as you go across, even if they don't match up with your lines. So sometimes you might have to bump the start of a letter into another letter, or squinch a letter in so that way it meets up. Like this here B took up one space into the I, but there's like 3 different strokes going on here. It's like an underturn, a connecting, and then an understroke, all within like an ascending stem loop, underturn, connecting letter, all in one thing. So it just really depends on which word you're doing. Any questions, comments, concerns? Leave them in the comment section below. All right. What's another word? Difficult word. Everything is a difficult word. Okay, so everything sometimes you have to make letters flow into each other. Otherwise, you get something that looks like something that looks like that. And it just doesn't flow good. So sometimes you're going to have to take your V's and you're going to have to go into another letter. A V into a T would look like this. Or a V into a B for whatever reason. Let's see. V into an A. V into a C. V into an E. kind of look like that. Let's see, V into an F. I don't know any V into F words, but that's what it would look like. A V into a W. V into a W into a V. Just really depends on what word you're going into, what letter you're going into. Tomorrow, I'm going to spend a good chunk of time showing you all of the connecting letters. It's going to be a very long day tomorrow. Tomorrow will probably be the last day for the weekend. So Friday, I won't be here. So you guys will get a whole day off on Friday. My suggestion to you is to go back and practice your connecting strokes, your basic calligraphy, you know, your upstroke, your downstroke, your overturn, your underturn, compound curve, ascending stem loop, descending stem loop, reverse descending stem loop, oval, reverse oval, Z stroke, R stroke, K stroke, S stroke, dash, your cross, and your tittles. And then for specialty, you can do your reverse compound curve, your double compound curve, reverse compound curve, double reverse compound curve, or your reverse double compound curve. Practice different heights of your upstrokes. Practice different heights of your hard downstrokes. Practice your connecting strokes. Practice writing your name. So,
Reminder, 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Practice writing your name. This one is an especially tricky because you have to go ascending stem loop into a reverse double underturn into a descending stem loop. So this one is particularly difficult. I would practice this one too. Ascending stem loop. Underturn, overturn, underturn. Any questions, comments, concerns? You can leave those down in the doobly-doo, and I will try and answer them. I did have a question. What was the question? I had a question from yesterday, and I wanted to answer it. Oh, it was a question about color. I will go over that tomorrow. I was going to do it today, but I forgot. So, any other questions, comments, concerns? Leave those in the comment section below. That is all for today. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed that one. I hope that you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the little bell. Make sure it's set to all, so when I upload new content, YouTube notifies you. And I will be back very soon with another video. So take care until then. Okay, love you, bye.